morning, and thank you for joining me this beautiful Saturday morning on Sunrise. It is the last Saturday of the month. And guess what, guys? Ta-da!
Oh, I'm the guest. Hey, hello, good morning. How you doing?
Ta-da!
It's me to please you. It's good to meet you.
Pleased to meet you. It's me
to please you. You can reverse it. Vice versa. It's okay.
Welcome back. Hope you had a good holiday.
I asked you the same question the other time. The first question you asked me was, has the refinery started working? I'm like, hey, how about hello, welcome to Nigeria?
Okay, welcome.
Has the refinery started working?
They say so.
What do you mean by that?
They say so. They say it had, but we hear all kinds of things. Some say, it started, it's only producing diesel.
Why does this thing happen to all refineries?
Some say, na lie, all na scam, it never starts, yo.
You know, when the Dangote refinery was commissioned by the Buhari administration,
yes,
we expected that the following day.
Last year.
We expected that the following day we will start getting...
see petrol.
And then they said it's, what would they want? Technical commissioning.
Burn.
So is this technical commissioning or official commissioning?
No, but those who are in that area say they have seen trucks rolling in and out. So we
also saw that on TV.
Well, we don't know. Well, some experts are supposed to be coming this morning.
Well, they'll be talking about that one, yes, so we'll understand better.
Keep your gunpowder dry.
I didn't bring it.
Well, I did ask Mr. Mele-Kyari last week, and I said, Mele-Kyari, you told us September, this is end of November, nothing is happening. He's like, maybe he heard me.
Well, maybe because rumors had it that it's like he moved out of Lagos to go and sit down with.
Out of Abuja, you mean?
Out of Abuja, yeah. So, yeah. Make a see. So, yeah.
Well, whatever it is, we are happy that the refinery is now working, and we're hoping to see the effect of this working on the price of fuel.
You can't see it.
Oh.
You ask me why. That's a 60,000 barrel per day capacity refinery. So, how much can that produce for Nigeria? Come on, please. According to Mr. Alfred Rwani, Bismarck Rwani, beg your pardon. He said that's about 5% of the market. So, well, maybe
have much effect.
So, you know, when you pour water from where you are, you go first reach the people where they're around you first. so maybe.
No, but have you noticed that there seems to be fewer cars on the road?
Well, for the price, yes. But I also see that marginally, fuel price came down. By 5 naira.
Something like that.
Now that's for me.
I still bought at 1,080 3 days ago.
Well, me, I bought at 1,650 this morning. Previously, I had bought at 1,007.
5 naira.
yes.
Okay. So, Enugu State wants to build an airport.
Hey! What?
Really?
Achievement is achievement.
But I thought there was an airport in Enugu anyway. That's what I thought.
Is achievement. We hear
Nigeria Airways used to fly to Enugu.
We hear there is a Port Harcourt in Ogun State. There's an airport in Ogun State. It has Harcourt at the end, so where is the airport? There is one in Ogun State. There's one in Oyo State. Look, we need to come back to a situation where each region is an economic hub. We'll have one airport, and then Nigeria will be at peace.
Why does every state want an airport?
Bragging rights.
Okay, all right. Understood. Now, this tax bill, raising all kinds of dust, but after listening to Taiwo Oyedele the other day, I thought, it is beginning to make sense. So those who were saying that he's going to impoverish the people, I hope many of them listened to him and how he explained everything in detail. And how it is those who earn a lot of money will pay more taxes, because it seems that right now it's those who earn the pots of money and who own those private jets, they are the ones who are hardly paying any taxes.
One of the things I've seen about us is many of us generally are not excited about reading. But you see that social media.
Social.
As somebody will say, we die here. So any small thing, whether it is the truth or it is not, wait patiently to listen. Especially if it has anything that makes government look bad. I'm not a big fan of government. I never like government. Because there is too much power behind the powers.
Mago.
But
never the truth.
At least let us look at some positives. Okay, for instance, there are so many opportunities that the federal government is saying, okay, this is for youth empowerment, there is IDIs, all these initiatives, but no one is talking about those ones. And there are those who are benefiting from it. To the point that you have made, not many people have actually taken time to read those things.
It's Dempsey.
Yes. Now,
somebody said on social media, somebody
the simplest way to check is, please, we all use ChatGPT. Go on ChatGPT.
We all don't use. We all don't have ChatGPT.
Okay. Here, I hereby say to you, chat.openai.com. Go there. Just type highlights of tax reform bills 2024. It will give you the highlights. Ask it for the downside. It will tell you. At least it's simple. Wait, why am I even saying? Someone is coming to talk to us.
Exactly. Somebody is going to explain it to us again this morning. Anyway, welcome back, my darling.
I wish you the same, darling. Thank you very much. By the way,
we all missed you.
I don't know who are these all. You are the only one here. In the meantime, what's his name? Mike Tyson fought 2 weeks ago.
Oh, that. Well, I saw somebody analyze it, and the person said, it's good to look after your own. They saw that Mike Tyson was broke. They organized this fight just so that he could have some money in his pocket. Because he made a cool 20 million from it. Never mind that he lost. Of course, we all knew that he was going to lose. You fight a child, more or less. The child is 30 years younger than him. But he fought the fight, and he made his money, which we hear he gave to his wife. We hear he gave the entire sum to his wife for having stood by him through thick and thin, whereas many other women ran away when he became broke.
Oh, dear women. Oh. Love they do you.
That is a love story.
Love for 110.
Yes. Yes.
Anyway, but that is good. That's a good one.
Well, I am mushy. I am.
Well, and she's just remembering the day. At the end of the day, no matter how mature a woman is, she's still a woman, darling. Hey, baby.
Understanding tax reform bills. That's where we're going to start today's program from. Yes, after that.
Oh, yeah. Now, there will be much ado about the PH Refinery, which spoke about a little earlier. We'll get some more perspectives about it.
UNILAG Alumni Association's 55th anniversary lecture.
Fund It Forward, the Series B. Find out more about that later on.
Lifestyle. Care for older adults.
Don't abandon them this Christmas. Oh, sorry.
Don't abandon them ever.
And the artist of the week is...
was it a he or a she?
Is one of your...
Was it a he or a she?
Oh, as my kids would say, one of your favorites.
Please, whatever you do, don't ever say that word around. The word is favorite, not favorite.
Oh my God.
It seems to be the latest fashion now. Everybody says favorite. It is wrong. It's favorite.
Uh-oh.
Thank you.
Is that the word of the day?
Yes.
Oh.
Get your cocoa.
Oh, cocoa.
And
made with cocoa.
And join us for today's program. See you in just a moment.
Staying with us. Now, as Alero said earlier, there's been quite some confusion or uncertainties and some furore about the tax reform bills from the presidency. Now, since the president transmitted those executive bills to the National Assembly, of course, it's been like, almost like all hell has gone.
Has broken
loose. Now, that reform package includes 4 bills, as many of us may be aware: the Nigeria Tax Bill, the Nigeria Tax Administration Bill, the Nigeria Revenue Service Establishment Bill, and the Joint Revenue Board Establishment Bill. Now, each of this bill addresses specific aspects of tax administration, tax compliance, and tax enforcement in Nigeria. So I had this conversation this morning. Let's have it with 2 people joining us this morning. Oriri Agbaje is a member of the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Good morning.
As well as Dr. Olubenga Adeoye, a chartered accountant and tax professional. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
This promises to be interesting because there's going to be you're going to see some things that you probably haven't seen on this program before. But let me begin with you, madam. When you heard that the way people were going on and on about this bill, knowing what you know about the processes that went into it, how did you feel?
I think first I felt like maybe the people are not calm. They don't trust the government enough that what we are doing will bring positive impact. So it's more of that there is still no trust in what the government is doing. So I felt a little bit down, but we have to get up and keep doing it because there must be change.
Okay, so let me ask you a little more personal question. You're a young person, and a young person in government, so to speak, and then people are saying this. How does that make you feel about this whole idea of governance?
I think before I got into government, I've not had a clear picture. It just always was on the internet. So it's mostly like you're in a dilemma. Should I follow what you're saying or should I dig further? So I think as a young person, I'm like, when these people get to understand what we are doing, then they're going to change their mindset. So it's just all about exposing everything and letting them see the nitty-gritty of what is going on, and they will understand it.
Do you see a challenge with the communication of the ideas so far?
No. Ever since the committee was inaugurated, there have been several consultations, even up until this moment. There's also consultation. So I think communicating with the public has been strategic and it has been in stages.
But you know, where the opposition, so to speak, is coming up from the most are the states, the governors. And so how is it that they don't understand they have tax professionals with them?
I wouldn't speak to that, but it's just like these bills are like a lot. They are changing everything. So you can't just say, oh, I've talked to this person once and they will understand. No, it's in stages. So I think as it progresses, there will still be more consultation, more understanding, more of how it's going to work out.
Okay.
So it's not just a one-off thing and you back off. No, it has to consultation frequently.
Doctor, going from what she said about people not understanding and not being patient enough to try to understand what this is all about, some members of the committee faced the National Assembly, I think 2 days ago, and they had a chance to actually explain this thing more comprehensively. And it looked like after that, they had won a few more people onto their side it seemed that more people now understood exactly what was going on. What was your reading of all that at the National Assembly?
Okay, I'll break it into three. Number one, I will have to let you know that there are three categories of people: those who misunderstand, those who do not understand, and those that are ignorant. So, the people that misunderstood the bill are the people who are not patient, who do not have an idea of what tax bill is all about. So they misunderstand whatever is that people.
Tax.
Yes, because tax. The other category of people are the people who do not understand. And that brings me to a level of we need to up our game in the kind of people that we vote or appoint into positions. People that will understand. The third category of people are people who are ignorant. They don't know what is there. They've not seen it. Now, I grew up with elders. There's a Yoruba proverb, and I will try to translate and give you a literal meaning, which says, Tí a bá fi ẹyin sí ọwọ́ ọ̀tún, tá a fi ẹyin sí ọwọ́ òsì, tá a wá fi ẹyin rìn láti Ìsẹ́yìn dé Ìyìn Èkìtì, ẹni tí ò ní yín ni kò ní yín ni. In fact, it says further that ẹni tí ò ní yín ni imú ló máa yín sí ni. Now, what does that imply? If you put egg in your right hand and you put kernel fruit on your left hand,
palm fruit,
yes, and then you walk backward from Ìsẹ́yìn to Ìyìn Èkìtì, which is over 200 kilometers in distance, that the person that will not commend you, he's going to even eat at you and say, what has he done? Now, that comes in from people who just hear tax bill and they say, what is this?
Yeah.
Now, I will tell you, the trouble that I had in all this episode was that I heard that somebody who was a former presidential candidate of a political party, somebody who had been a governor before, made a statement that Lagos want to colonize Kano with the tax bill. And that person is presumed to be an intelligent person who should understand. And I am urging that person to apologize to the good people of Kano and to Nigerians that that statement was made in error. Now, let me tell you one fantastic thing about this tax bill that a lot of people do not understand, which is the derivation. Here is purple, all right? This is purple, big one. Now, in the past, the derivation, the way it is done, is that the place of production or place of, where you manufacture or produce the service will get the full derivation. For example, MTN, Airtel, Globalcom, all the banks, their headquarters is in Lagos. And some oil companies in Harcourt. So the derivation from VAT, the entire derivation here is going to go to place of production.
Yep.
The new tax bill is changing that narrative by saying, hey, look here, production place is not the only place to consider. Where they are consuming these items need to be considered. I am from Ogun State. Ogun State is the capital of industrialization in Nigeria now. All the factories in Nigeria, the largest percentage, they are in my state. Now, Nigerian international bureaus, they are in a place called Bara, in Obafemi local government in Ogun State. But I tell you, I don't take alcohol, but large percentage of people that consume that product there, they are probably in Anambra, Enugu, Imo, Ebonyi. So they need to get, so the new tax bill now says, okay, this is the VAT. So this portion is going to go to Kano because this consumption took place in Kano. This portion of MTN VAT is going to go to maybe Anambra State because the usage took place in that place.
Yes.
This one is going to go to Ekiti State because the consumption took place there. This one is going to FCT because the consumption took place there. That is exactly what is in that bill. So the statement you are hearing in the public is contrary to what is in the bill. Now, the conversation that we should be having in this country now among the governors, because I was surprised when I heard some governors making statements that, oh, they need to step down this bill. You should be having conversation around what can we do between state government and the Federal Inland Revenue Services to ensure that the consumption in question is identified.
Perhaps the challenge here, my apologies, it goes back. Can you confirm what he is saying? Because the challenge here that we have seen over time is the challenge of understanding. Can you corroborate what that's what the bill actually is? Because I know he's not a member of that committee.
Yes, understanding is really essential, because when you understand what the bill is trying to say, you'll be able to know that this is for our good and not, it is for us and not against us.
So what do young people particularly need to understand about this bill?
Okay, first, they need to read it up. They need to read it up, because most people don't actually read it. They might just maybe read the front cover or go for summaries or maybe check out maybe what someone did. But when you sit down and read it and you're able to relate it in your own words, you'll be able to argue it out. If you hear it in another form, you'll be like, no, this is how I understand it. Is it different? So they need to go back and read it and understand it and digest it. That way, if somebody points out a wrong thing there, or something that is not there, you'll be able to, no, what I read is not there. But if you are following what is online, you might just be like, yes, this one says on that. Oh, yes. Just too much information that is not substantial.
So what are the highlights? Because I know he has just spoken with Son about one.
He's spoken about that.
So what are these other highlights that people need to know?
Okay, apart from that, small businesses that have a revenue below 50 million would not be asked to pay taxes.
Pause. So I make 50 million naira in a year. I don't pay a tax.
Your company.
We're talking about, yes, you don't pay tax. And there's also like a clause to like opt out of it. That's okay, I want to pay taxes.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, you can offer to, even if your company makes less than 50.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right.
And then going back to the VAT, there is also the need for so value-added tax. The value added is what we are trying to like bring into the picture now. So the value added here is attribution. So attribution is if this, just like the example we said, if this good move from Lagos to, let's say, Anambra, value must have been added. So it is that value that we're going to be taxing. So companies need to like take data generation or analysis serious now. Because if you note that you move a goods from one place to another, it has to be in record so that the VAT will be calculated well. And there's also like a clause in also the bill that has penalty for those that do not add the attribution clause. They also have the personal income tax of those that the low income earners will not be asked to pay tax. Those that will be asked to pay taxes, like the PIT rather, will be those that earn 12 million annually and above.
Okay, so someone who is earning like, that's about 1.2 million naira a month, right?
Approximately, yes.
You earn 1.2 million naira a month and you don't want to pay tax. I'm trying to understand.
1.2 million a month.
So that's 12 million naira annually.
Oh.
Anything above that, that's what?
Yes, above 12 million naira.
So anyone earning lower doesn't pay tax. So why then, is this true?
Well, see, this bill, one important...
I understand that there are four. We'll come to the nitty-gritty later.
This tax bill, you know, my PhD is on tax law and infrastructural development. It took time for you to get various laws together. Now, what this bill has done is to eliminate archaic laws and then unnecessary pieces of legislation. So you have value-added tax somewhere, personal income tax act somewhere, capital gain tax act somewhere, petroleum profit tax act somewhere. Now, and this bill, a lot of people think it's bogus or big. It has just 203 sections only. 203 sections. And so it's easy to understand. If you break it into 20 sections in 10 places, you are done. It means that even researchers can focus on the Nigerian tax bill and begin to say you can even do your PhD dissertation on the tax bill now, as it is, well structured. Apart from that, there is also what is called priority list of industry, crop production, forestry, agriculture, aquaculture, where government is looking at, look, we're going to allow you to enjoy tax holidays as long as you are willing to invest in this sector. Not only that, the issue of turnover less than or equal to 50 million is something so interesting, because what that means is that young entrepreneurs who are acting as agents, I had cause to try to resolve a matter recently of a young boy trying to do a haulage intermediary between quarries and then the truck owners. The guy probably will not make up to 4 million in a month. Though money will come to the account, he pushes the quarries money to them, pushes the one to the truck owner, is having maybe 2 or 3 or 4 million left, 48 million in a year. This company will be exempted from value-added tax, company income tax, and also, you see, that.
What's the objective?
The objective is to encourage startups. Not only that, most jobs are created along this corridor of small and medium scale enterprises.
Of jobs.
And so, rather than stress them about tax payment, you just allow them to grow.
Okay. And they have stressed many out of business.
Absolutely.
Many have folded up because of paying taxes when they were only turning over 25 million, 30 million a year.
Many people do not also know why some are agitating. We have like 50 taxes that should not even exist. And the intention is that we will have single-digit tax numbers. That in Nigeria, when you enter this country or you want to do business, you know that there are 9 taxes. So you pick the ones that apply to you, single digits.
Okay. Now, one other issue that's been a little troubling is the administration of the process. I see that one of the bills is the Joint Revenue Board Establishment Bill. What do you know about that one? Because now we have, for now, revenue agencies include customs, FIRS. I don't know whether prisons make money. I don't think they make money.
Immigration is making money.
Immigration is making money.
Everybody's making money.
So, how does this whole thing?
So, very good.
Sorry, Doctor. Just before you answer that, I also want to add that we discussed business in Nigeria on this program before, and some business people actually told us that they are paying 37 different taxes.
No, it's more than that.
That's about 50.
It's about 50.
Oh, sorry. And so even they were wrong.
No, he already spoke to that.
Non-state actors. Non-state actors are collecting taxes. Non-state actors, empowered by politicians, they throw nails on the road and they say, this one is emission. This one is gas development. This one is what? Look, in the days when I used to drive from here to Benue in Boko on the road, if you dare drive a bus, commercial bus, they will stop you in many places. And then you get to Kogi State. Kogi will tell you, oh no, you don't have so permit.
The Kogi version.
In the Kogi version. If you get to Delta, the Delta people will come and say, oh, sorry, Yes, we have seen you have all this, but you don't have this one. Look, sometimes I tell clients, just ignore these people because it's not in our laws.
But they won't let you go if you ignore them.
And some state comes up with all sort of, and even local government. So what we're trying to do now as a country is to harmonize all the taxes and make sure at a glance you will know what you have to pay. So you are able to predict the taxes that are due. Now the joint tax that Ayo was talking about. See, if I were to be these governors, you should be concerned about the administration. How all of us will put our eyes and say, how much has come into the federation? FIRS, how much have you gotten for us? So respective states are able to ensure that entities that are within their territory, you are enjoying pay as you earn from them. However, entities that supply goods into your state, you are ensuring that their returns is adequate so that we can say, oh, in Ogun State we have consumed this. We are expecting this as derivation from VAT. Now the other revenue that we're talking about, so you now have custom is doing its own, immigration is doing, revenue is revenue. Let everything be in a joint purse. However, you can have officers that are trained to clear goods like the customs, but it is still the federal inland revenue that collect taxes. All the VAT that you pay at the port also comes to FIRS. And so we need to now deliberately make laws that will now harmonize all of these revenue sources so that the Council of State, everybody, we can see what is coming in.
Okay, madam, wanted to add to what he's saying.
Yes, drawing from what Doctor has said, it will allow states to up their games, be able to build their resources. You be on standby that this goods is coming to my state, value must be added. So you are not just maybe letting it just pass by like that. You work on efficiency, work on effectiveness, utilize your resources. So you just make everyone up their game and the economy will grow that way.
No, there is also the word out there. By the way, we got this comment from Festus Akimboyewa, who says, the brouhaha we are seeing over tax reform bills is uncalled for. There is no doubt that our tax system is in need of reform. Tax bills in the National Assembly, if passed into law, will improve our tax system and attract both local and foreign investments. Our current tax system is loaded with deadweight costs that are holding back our development. Improving our economy is a task that must be done, and these tax bills will be central to our economic development. Well, granted, and taken as that may be, one of the challenges that has been the issue, and I think we mentioned it the other time, is whether or not we have engaged the governors. Because as Dr. Adeoye said, if the governors knew what is in it for them, I don't think there'll be so much opposition. Do these laws also, will they apply to the revenue generation of the states? Not from the federal government, but of the states themselves?
The IGRs?
Yeah.
Not directly, but indirectly it would affect them. That's why I made mention of the VAT. Now that they're doing it by attribution, everyone will up their game. The value must actually be added in my state. So indirectly, everyone is trying to make impact somewhere.
But Orire, don't forget that the states are so used to going to Abuja at the end. In fact, some of them even live in Abuja. Some governors live in Abuja from one collection to the next. They're so used to going there, cap in hand, to collect money every month. You want them to sit in their states now and begin to think about how to add value? Isn't that a tall order?
The country needs to change, ma'am. We need to move away from where we are. So everyone needs to all hands on deck, ma'am.
All hands on deck.
You're essentially corroborating what Dr. Adeoye said the other time, that we have to get people in office who can understand
what is to be done.
Do you know that in this tax bill, there is a provision changing how personal income tax is computed. You have up to 800,000, if that is what is left after taking the allowances, 0%. Now, if what is left is up to 15 million in your hands, you are paying 25% to the state. This tax here, personal income tax, is direct to state government. And there are many big men with private jets using G-Wagon and all of that, that by their lifestyle, we can conclude that they will be in the category of 50 million.
You now see, Alero, why each state needs an airport.
So apart from that,
so that you get where to park your the doctors, how easy is it going to be for the tax net to be widened? I see that is something that, part of this is trying to do. Make those who earn a lot of money pay commensurate amounts to either the state or the federal government, as the case may be. How easy is that going to be?
Now, I will say this. I was talking to some friends recently. I said, before any man goes out to contest for election and say you want to be governor of any state, give me your tax clearance certificate.
That can be contrived.
Let me see how much you paid in the last 3 years or 10 years, and not the one you lump up and pay penultimate year to election. 2026, you now go and pay 25 million naira, chicken change to us. Not only that, now widening the tax net has to do with sincerity. He who comes to equity must come with clean hand. If a leader, now I'm starting from governors, commissioners, president, and all the people in leadership, if you, in your own private sector practice, you are paying correct taxes, then you will be bold to say, Mr. X, can you please? So, sincerity and then data.
Dr. Adoye.
Data is key. Now, sincerity comes in when you look at Ayo. Has 2 G-Wagon in his house. His house worth about 5 billion naira in Banana Island. And Ayo tax clearance is showing that he has only paid 1 million per year tax. 3 years. What type of nonsense income?
I was obeying the law.
I happen to be the governor of the state. We are going to take part of those cars, actually. Why? To enforce.
But Mr.
There is no law as at today. There is no law that mandates you to collect my G-Wagon.
No.
You are using a 1938 law.
Enforcement of tax laws comes in any form. You see, there is what we call power of distraint. We can take over your house, your office, lock the place up, and take what belongs to
and
government.
I will take you to court.
Let me be sincere with you, and I'm being honest with you. The politicians, they constitute 99% of our problem.
Exactly.
They don't pay taxes adequately. And I have seen tax returns. I have seen.
Are you talking about politicians who are office holders or just?
You know, many of the politicians in business before coming to politics. So you just go and do crash program returns.
But
a year before election.
Dr. Adoye, who are the ones aiding and abetting them in this? Tax consultants.
No, that's where I'm coming from. I'm saying sincerity and data. If the government is sincere, for example, if I'm a governor of a state and you are my friend, all I need to do is to ask the State Internal Revenue Services to give me the list of the highest 100 taxpayers. And I look at it.
And your name is not there.
And I did not see your name. And of course, the figure that I'm seeing does not even make sense. You understand? Recently, I told one organization, I said, look, I am from Ogun State. The withholding tax you are taking from me must go to my state because I'm going to file my returns, right? And that withholding tax is what you are going to use to reduce the tax payable. So if we take the data And the data is obvious. At the events, you see people spraying dollars. You see people, you are driving a car of 350 million. And your tax returns, your income that you have declared in the last 10 years is not even up to 100 million. But you bought a brand new car of 350 million.
It was a gift. It was a gift.
The person who gave you the gift, we are going to check him too, whether he has paid.
He is a taxpayer.
So data is key. Okay. And then sincerity on the part of our politicians. So that when the tax people gives this the assessment, he will just call the governor. See your people, they want to stress me, and the governor calls them. Don't you know that man sponsor our campaign?
Exactly.
You better leave it alone. Yes. If you can sponsor a campaign, why can't you pay taxes?
I wonder. Orire, this may be a small part of it, but I think it's an integral part of what we're talking about. A lot of young people now work in fintech, and a lot of them are earning incomes that are paid to them in foreign currency. Paid to them either here or abroad. How do they pay taxes on those incomes? Because I know that many of them are not paying taxes right now. And they're earning huge sums of monies.
Maybe in foreign currency.
Maybe. I know that for a fact. They're all very well paid.
Yes, I agree. But with the naira depreciation, when they convert it, it's not even worth it at all. But part of this bill covers it. Those working remotely and in digital spaces. It covers how they are going to be taxed, because before now, it was not like properly stated and structured, so it was just like all over the place. But the Nigerian tax bill also covers it, and it also went further to also encourage people that want to work remotely, because most people, some of their concerns would be the conversion and how it's convenient. So the bill is going to encourage them to you can work remotely, and those who are working remotely would also pay taxes.
How do the authorities even know that they exist? I am working, I've graduated, I've got a job with Facebook, let's say.
Or Amazon.
And I'm sitting in my house, and I'm doing the work from my house, and I'm getting paid my dollars quietly. So how does the authorities even know that I exist and that I'm working?
Yeah, I'll draw from what Doctor has said, data. When fiscalization comes on board...
How does the data get to the authorities?
Taxes is... The way this tax system would be now, there would be no hiding. Everyone is going to come into the light. Everyone's going to come into the light.
Okay.
So that's
it's the how I want you to tell me.
I wouldn't want to share all of it because of agitation and all. Because
there's some secret means you all want to use to.
Not secret. I wouldn't want a misunderstanding on that. We've not even sorted out the misunderstanding. Yes. So I'm just going to say that when fiscalization comes on board with the use of technology, everyone is going to be on that.
So all those of us who are content producers too.
Everybody.
Monetize content.
Everybody.
There is even
everybody.
Nigeria has subscribed to this data collection with the US, and some other countries are keen into it. In fact, this November, it has become so critical that your data, because your date of birth, your name, is now being synchronized globally. Therefore, yes, there's a synchronization going on. Yes, so if you have bank account in United Kingdom and you are here pretending to us that you are a pauper and therefore not paying appropriate taxes, the United Kingdom is going to share with us that. So, because there is what we call...
your neck suddenly itched you.
Non-tax identification number holder. Yet they have bank accounts in another country, but their tax identification is in Nigeria. So Nigeria here, their bank statement is showing 2 million a year into their bank account. But the law in Nigeria now is that you can't set up any business and you want to open bank account without having tax identification number.
Yes.
So this comes through the Joint Tax Board and the Federal Inland Revenue Services. So if you now want to open bank accounts in the US, in UK, in other places, you must provide tax identification of your country of domicile, that is where you are living. So these agencies of government in other countries have a duty to share your data with us.
Now we're getting serious.
So they will share your data with us, and that's why when Kemi Adeosun was Minister of Finance, she came up with a program, VADES, Voluntary Asset and Income Declaration Scheme. We ought not to have dropped that scheme. After the expiration, we ought to open another window and say, we are begging you now, come by yourself. Tell us the houses you own in Dubai, the money in your account in UK.
Otherwise,
you are not paying taxes there, but you are here. Otherwise, so data will be shared. In fact, in the UK now, there is a scheme that they say if you the income that cannot be substantiated as being earned here will be deemed to have been proceed of corruption or something.
I think
they will give us reports.
Yes.
And then the tax authority. So in this bill, the new tax bill is now engaging young Nigerians who are IT experts, who will not have to put on shirt and tie and come to Federal Inland Revenue. They will be working remotely. Through them, we will get you. We'll get all your data around the world.
Well, right now,
in street balance, it don't cast.
Everybody go chop breakfast last.
Oh.
Well,
all those who are stealing our money are going to hide abroad.
It's looking to me like Mr. Oyedele may have to engage Dr. Adeoye as one of his consultant communicators. Thank you so much for all of this. At least, hopefully, some people have gotten better elucidation about this as opposed to just the noise that we've been hearing. Thank you so much for your time this morning. Dr. Olugbenga Adeoye is a chartered accountant and a tax professional.
And a lawyer.
Yes. And we've also heard Ms. Oriri Agbaje, who is a member of the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms. We are aware, somebody sent us a mail that you are not telling us everything yet. We are expecting all of the information. All right. Well, that's our first discussion this morning. Very hot topic of the week. Up next is another very hot topic. Don't go away.
Thank you for staying with us. Before we went on break, Ayo said that we had spoken about one hot topic and we were going into another hot topic. Of course, the issue of fuel has been hot since this government came into power in 2023. And in the last 6 months, it became even hotter with the price of petrol going up like every 2 weeks, 3 weeks, the price would change at the pump. But when the news came on Tuesday that the Port Harcourt Refinery had resumed operations after years of inactivity, there was muted jubilation. And I say muted because people weren't exactly sure what was going on. That is how, when we heard that Dangote refineries had come on stream, hey, we were jubilating. We thought, okay, there'll be plenty of petrol, and therefore automatically the price would crash. But to our utter chagrin, instead of the price going down, it went up. So what is the implication of the Port Harcourt Refinery coming on board? Or has it? That is where we should start this conversation from. To discuss this with us this morning, we have an energy consultant, Mr. Olabode Shomi. Good morning.
Good morning, madam.
Thank you for joining us today.
It's always a pleasure.
So, has Port Harcourt come on stream?
Yes, it has.
Is it producing diesel or PMS?
Yes, it is. So I think fundamentally, there are certain things we all should, brace ourselves with in terms of when you want to verify facts. So I remember a few days ago, virtually all the stations, channels inclusive, had some reporter who was at the venue. They did report seeing the trucks being loaded.
With what?
Different products. So there were different reports from different stations. I remember watching Arise, I remember watching News, I remember watching a number of them. And they did report saying that, and they did report saying that they spoke to the drivers of the trucks. Now, if we don't believe people who are on site, and we choose to believe people who are not on site, then we now begin to ask ourselves, what is the foundation for what we hold to be true?
Well, Mr. Showme, we've heard all kinds of rumors. Reported.
Yes, reported. So
I'm sorry, because we don't have much time for this topic, this conversation today. Mm-hmm. In 2015, it was reported that the Port Harcourt refineries have started working.
True.
2016, Port Harcourt Refinery has commenced operations. Mm-hmm. 2023 December, the same thing. March this year, the same thing. So you don't blame anyone who is coming with skepticism.
So people have a right to be skeptical. You understand? But it is not a trial that we are going on. So we are not holding history accountable. We are just trying to verify facts. And what I'm simply saying, and please don't get me wrong, I'm actually wearing the cap of a Nigerian. And I'm not in law enforcement, neither am I a lawyer. I'm not an expert in all those fields. I'm just saying that how will I verify something to be true? There has to be a basis. And what I'm saying is that somebody who is a witness is a more credible source of information than somebody who is deducting or implying. So it's a different case if you say you have been there and you didn't see it, rather than saying that based on the activities I'm looking at from the outside, it appears like nothing is happening. So what I'm just saying is that, at the end of the day, it's freedom of choice. You can choose what to believe in. But also, the NNPC has had rejoinders, other people have spoken and all that, so that at the end of the day, we don't spend our times measuring on minors. Let us look at what the key things that are technical. Because
so what are these technical things?
The industry, the production. How do they overcome the issues? What is the implication of the industry to the economy? The things for which we are professionals.
There are those who have said that the 60,000 barrels per day capacity refinery that we are talking about is like a drop in the ocean of our need in the country. Bismarck Rwani, for instance, I remember him saying on Business Morning on Sunrise, it's just about 5% of what we need in country. So why then why do you think there's so much noise about this particular refinery when it's just promising about 5% of the market value?
Okay, so a couple of things on that. While he's right, it's also about perspective. People seem to forget that, like the Chinese say, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a step. Every single liter additional into the economy is positive, is progress. So if we had 5% from this, and 2% from this, and 7% from this, we're ultimately making progress. That is on one side. On the other side is that refinery has not been working for close to 2 decades. It's been on for close to 60 years. It's in 1963 or so that the refinery was built. Now, the reasons why it wasn't working are not technical. So it's not like the engineers, it's not an engineering issue. There are other issues. There are human factors. And those human factors were not overcome across close to 2 decades. So by the time you are looking at the last manager or the last foreman that worked in that place, the person is probably with the ancestors somewhere or retired decades ago as well. So for whatever reason and whatever they overcome to get that working, it's not a milestone, but it is an achievement.
One of the challenges that people have had about this whole thing is, or rather part of the skepticism is whether this is even sustainable. Whether it's not just, we're just blowing air for people to see that there is some activity at the PH refinery, and then maybe in another week or two, we just hear that, okay, well, there was someone removed the tire of one of this thing, and then it's not working again, and we now go back to the drawing board. What can you say? You are in this field, you are in the industry. What can you say about the sustainability?
So when it comes to sustainability, it's one of those things that is not pure science. So I'll give you this example. You probably watch football. Auntie is smiling. Leicester was facing Man City, which is supposed to be a weaker club. They ended up beating them, I think it was 4-0 or something. Guess what? When they scored the first goal, everybody was saying that, no, these people are going to come back. They'll probably lose 3-1 or 4-1. Then they scored the second one. Then they scored the third one. The point is this: whether it is sustainable, whether it is going to be sustainable or not, the way things get sustainable is for you to continue to make progress. That's the concept of sustainability. Now, by getting it to work is progress. Then they need to make more effort to put up a system in there. So then they need to put audits to work. You understand? So that you will not get to the point of sustainability. But when you have made an initial progress and all you are hearing is that this thing is not sustainable, it reminds you of those who are trying to build and people are distracting them. And we as Nigerians need to know what matters and what does not matter, so that we do not give what matters at the expense of what does not matter. What matters is the people that are working. So it's like the same football. What are the people that matter? The players on the field. Okay. Not the one that is on the stand saying that guy is playing like a pregnant woman.
Okay, Mr. Chome, we hear that there are 2 units in Port Harcourt.
Yes.
The one that is working now is the smaller of the 2,
yes.
The 60 barrels per day. What news do we have of the bigger one that can actually refine 150,000 per day?
Okay, so as you know...
Which is the more modern of the 2, correct?
Yes. So whether it's modern or ancient, you know that book, Ancient and Modern, what matters is productivity.
No, I think you're being gentle here or whatever. You know, the Nigerian out there recognizes how much has been spent on what they call turnaround maintenance. In fact, that term became very, very prominent in the days of President Obasanjo.
True.
Turnaround maintenance. And you keep turning around and there is nothing turned around. So if so much money has been spent, and it will sound like no one is going to be asked questions, no one is going to get punished for that, no head is going to roll for the monies, hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars that have been spent, and nothing has happened up until now. So the question then is, so it's not about whether or not, it has to work. So what is it? I mean, you've talked about creating a system to ensure that this thing works. What are the impediments? There are those who will probably allege that, okay, maybe it's because of some sabotage. Right now, we know that Dangote is on stream, Bua is coming on stream. We also understand there's some other refinery here and there. They're also coming on stream. The government already has a bad name because they don't keep their promises. So there will be those who would allege, for instance, that, okay, maybe because of some sabotage somewhere, that is why these things are not working. So we can't give that excuse. Nigerians are very, very worried about hundreds of billions of dollars that have been spent to turn around something that is not turned around.
Okay, so this is what you're talking about is an issue of a fault or an imperfection in governance that spans across decades. So only that this is now looking at the petroleum industry. people seem to forget that up till very recently, NNPC was a purely wholly government function. They were made of civil servants. So whether you look at Ministry of Agric, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Sports, anywhere where it was public sector, there are all issues that you can point out to. These are about imperfections in public service issues.
But now the NNPC is a limited liability.
Hold on, but it's still 100% government owned. And it is taking time. It is taking time to evolve. So now,
I apologize. It is 100% government owned, but so is the significantly owned by government is also the NLNG, and it has run almost like a fully privatized organization over the years.
Okay, so government has minority shares in NLNG.
Okay.
But like I said, it's a different issue because we are now going to go into corporate governance, corporate culture.
Is that the problem?
Like I said, we could go into that, but we'll completely divert from the discussion because they are completely different issues.
Okay.
There is an issue and a place where culture plays in the running of an organization, which is one thing I believe Nigerians are not even familiar about. And I'll give you a simple example to do that. Supposing you got a Nobel laureate in economics and you brought him to run the central bank. I mean, it's a Nobel laureate in economics, world-renowned, he's done all those things. But he's a recluse. So he comes in and they greet him, "Good morning, sir." He doesn't answer. "Would you like tea, sir?" "Shut up. I'm very focused." So he calls a meeting of the board of directors. You are very stupid. From my experience, he talks down on people and all that. Will he succeed? He won't succeed. But the reason for not succeeding is not technical. It is because he is bringing in an attitude that is against the culture of the organization. So now this is the thing. Peter Drucker,
the civil service culture.
Peter Drucker said something. He said, culture eats strategy for breakfast. Culture always defeats strategy. So when we are talking about some of these organizations, why certain things, we are talking about organizational culture. And there is culture in every organization that is different. The culture in NNPC is different from Shell, and that is different from Chevron, and that is different from Total, and that is different from NLNG. What I'm trying to say is that we can go into that, but we'll totally move away from the discussion.
So what needs to, I'm very particular about the sustainability. As Alero said, I mean, you are also aware all kinds of, what's the word now? Theories about whether or not the PH refinery has actually taken off. Now, let's take your word for it. There's evidence, reportage about it. And the issue now is that of sustainability, and we have just 1 minute. What must be done, in your opinion? Okay,
so sustainability is not dependent on one thing, because that's also another thing that is wrong in the thinking. So it's like a couple that is having problem having childbirth. They go and see the doctor. It doesn't mean it's one issue. There can be a mirage of issues. It can be that they're not eating well. It can be that they're not meeting at the right time. It can be somebody has health challenges. So we are assuming that sustainability, or when it comes to run, because an organization is also an organism. It is made up of systems. Just like you have digestive systems.
Can you guarantee that this refinery will be, this new resumption will be sustained?
So that is not within my
scope. You are in the industry. That's why I'm asking
hold on. I want to explain something.
Are there any signs that it can be?
There is everything that it will work. We just need to continue doing the things that we are doing in the energy that we are doing it, and it will work. When it comes to guaranteeing, what guarantees success is continuing to do the right things.
Okay.
So people need to, for example, somebody studied and had A in WAEC, all A's, but he failed, he stopped reading, and when he got to part 1, he failed. Why? Because he stopped reading. So the fact that you have succeeded in all A's does not mean when you get to university you stop reading. So we continue doing the positive things that we are doing.
And add some prayers.
Which is not wrong. And as long as we continue doing it, we become sustainable. So the key point is this. We have spent a lot of energy being pessimistic. That the capacity to be optimistic is now strange.
Okay.
Okay.
And you don't suddenly change from being pessimistic to being optimistic. The mind does not work that way.
Okay. I think that's a place. That's a good place to leave it.
To suspend
Mr. Shomi, you have managed to dodge a lot of the questions that we have asked.
Incidentally, I didn't come with a bulletproof.
It's fine. It's fine. Thank you very much for coming all the same. Energy consultant, Mr. Olabode Shomi.
A pleasure.
Thank you.
The pleasure is mine.
We shall return in just a moment with another interesting conversation. Make sure you stay.
Something that I never thought I'd feel. I've been a performer.
Welcome and thank you for staying with us. Now you're back to the city. That was from the country. Now, the University of Lagos Alumni Association came into existence in 1969. 4 years after the first 41 graduates were turned out of the university that was established in 1962. Now, the UNILAG... What?
62 to 69, 4 years. Well, go ahead.
What you know?
They're here, we'll ask them.
So the University of Lagos Alumni Association will commence its 55th anniversary with a lecture holding on Tuesday, December 3, 2024. Let's have conversations with this morning. Ladies first, Mrs. Regina Chris-Obodo is the Chair, Logistics Subcommittee. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much. An excellent morning.
Okay. We have Mr. Leke Ajisafe, who is the Chairman, Planning Committee.
Mr. Lekon Ajisafe.
Lekon Ajisafe, my apologies.
Yes.
Thank you for being here, as well as Engineer Ifeoluwa Oyedele, who is President Worldwide, University of Lagos Alumni Association. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Good morning.
As you can see, he looks very, very presidential.
Yes.
Okay. Well, you want to first of all answer Alero's question.
Established in 1962, and the Alumni Association was formed in 69, and he says 4 years after the university was founded.
I didn't realize that you're a mathematician.
No, actually, I don't have to be.
But
to know that
yes,
2 out of 9 is not 4.
I agree with you. Yes, the university commenced academic activities as a university in 1962, but it was 4 years after the
graduating its students.
Yes, so the first set of graduates was 4 years after that the Alumni Association, because they won't be alumni anyway until
the first graduates leave.
They have graduated.
Of course,
yes.
of course.
Yes.
Well, it's been explained.
You know?
Yes.
Okay. Now let's get to the issue. Well, Mr. Ajisafe, tell us, what are the issues here that we're looking at, particularly about this 55th anniversary lecture?
Well, thank you very much for bringing us on set. I'm here with my President Worldwide, Engineer Oyedele Ifeoluwa, and my colleague, Mrs. Obodo. The issue is just to talk about our 55th
obviously,
anniversary.
That's what you're here to talk about. I'm talking
Yes.
what are the things to look out for? What makes it different this time?
Yes, what makes it different this time is talking to Nigerians, discussing the issues. Okay, we have a very distinguished speaker, that's Dr. Sumono, actually to deal with the topic, and the topic is actually talking about deregulation in the economy. Okay, talking about what is the main topical issues in Nigerian economy today, and also we're bringing this topic to the fore so that Nigerians can also contribute. We have, of course, our own Dr. John Momo, ON, as the chairman of this occasion, and we have other dignitaries. The entire university communities will be there, and it's open to the public. Our president, Engineer Ifeoluwa Oyedele, has actually given us the go-ahead to actually make sure that this is, this is a very grand and a successful one. So we are here to, to talk to the public about it, and also to invite everyone, to see, what, we, the UNILAG alumni, is up to in, trying to also engender.
Okay. So, madam, let me ask you. Why must anyone come for this? It's a talk show. People don't normally like talking.
Well, yeah, I think you're accepting that, because we don't want to accept the fact that people don't like. We are supposed to be catalysts, and the University of Lagos Alumni Association, alongside the university itself, has always been a catalyst in developmental nation building. And now the topic is nation building in a deregulated economy, a clarion call to citizens. Now, we all know that it's been good. Let's use the Nigerian parlance. It's been very good in the system, and that being on the very onset this economy came, administration came, it was deregulation. And there are lots of interpretation to that word deregulation. And we feel it. So we want to bring this topic to the citizenry and ask them, come, let's discuss and see, because it's a clarion call to everyone. It's not a government thing, it is us. And so what better place to do it than an academic setting, and being powered by an association that has done so well in nation building across, we're 55 years now. So we've done a lot. So we feel people should come. Let's talk man to man, woman to woman, as it were.
Okay, well, engineer, you want to?
Yes. Apart from members of the association, what other people are you expecting to grace this occasion?
Thank you very much, my dear sister. I think, first of all, we need to establish the fact that the University of Lagos is today Nigeria's university of first choice.
Is it?
It is. Look, we don't say this as a cliche. 7 out of every 10 applicants to universities pick the University of Lagos as a university of first choice. You can Google that, and you can find out from JAM. I can tell you that for free.
I'll give you
not only that.
Feedback next week.
Yes. in Nigeria today, in this government, I don't want to talk about the Chief Justice of the Federation. I don't want to talk about the Inspector General of Police. I don't want to talk about the Minister of Education. I don't want to talk about the Minister of Mines and Steel Development. I don't want to talk about the Chief of Staff to the President. Everywhere you turn in Nigeria today, I don't want to talk about the senior advocates. I believe, and it's on record, that the University of Lagos has produced more senior advocates of Nigeria than any other university.
Understandably.
Well,
we didn't have law in Ibadan when Lagos had law.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
There we go.
Even in the field of engineering.
Just beat yourself.
No.
If our faculty of law came on stream more than 10 years after UNILAG, then
you are
it's
not
understood that they would produce more senior advocates of Nigeria.
Even in the field of engineering. And, the role of the alumni is very critical. They are the major stakeholders in the academic world. Look, in Nigeria today, it is the old boys association of many of the secondary schools that have taken over the sustenance and the development of those secondary schools. I was privileged to have gone to Government College Ibadan, and so I know what we're doing. We have, in fact, taken over. In UNILAG, I don't want to go on and mention all the various things that we're doing. One, as a National Alumni Association, as branches, where we have branches all over the world, all over. and I underline that. And even the faculties, the class sets are doing wonderful things to the university, and it's not. It is supposed to be that way. I tell people that in the United States of America, most of the universities there, the income, the revenue, the amount of money spent by those universities, only about 10% on the average come from the owners of that university. The remaining 90% is contributed by the alumni, and that's
is this part of this anniversary event going to also serve as some kind of revenue generation?
We do not use an event to generate revenue for the university. We are very much involved in turning around the fortune of the university, because the owners of the university, in our case the federal government, cannot provide all of the needs of the university.
Okay,
so this topic is very, very relevant. One, to emphasize the fact that, look, we as citizens have duties. There must be a collaboration between, we talk about Industry 5.0. There must be a collaboration between government, the academia, the industry, the communities, and the environment. And therefore, citizens must understand what their role is in this new world that we are faced with.
But one of the issues, one of the questions I normally ask when we have talk shops and developmental initiatives is, where do we situate the young people? And I ask that question for two reasons. Number one, they're going to evolve into your space now when their time comes. But as we speak, right now, they're in the students in the universities, a good number of them. And they're also the people in Nigeria in all 36 states. So how do we, because part of what I have also observed is that we don't tend to speak their language. We tend to speak over them. How do we bring them into this free so that they can also take ownership of this initiative you are talking about?
I'm not very sure that it is correct to say we don't speak their language. The language of the world these days is the language of the youth. That's the truth. And if you don't speak their language, even in communications on WhatsApp, on social media, you would have no audience. And that's the truth. We speak their language. And if you have been to the University of Lagos in the last few months, all of the activities are geared towards involving the younger people, the students, and the younger graduates of the university. It's important to know that it is their world. Look, many of us, I said this yesterday, I said many of us don't even know how to use Google Maps to locate a destination. So if you don't know it, if you are not talking about AI, if you are not talking about, you're just going to be living, a very mundane life. So if you come to the hall on Tuesday, you'll find that hall will be populated by maybe 60% of young people. Okay. And the choice of the lecturer is deliberate, because Dr. Sumonu is somebody who can speak to all strata of people, especially the young people. He understands the language, and that's why the topic is about the citizens. What are your roles? Because it's important to let us understand that, look, we are the government. The man who throws out a piece of paper on the road is as bad as the man who steals millions from using his position as a government.
Unfortunately, their benefits are different.
Maybe yes, but you see,
we have only 1 minute left. Mr. Ajisafe, where exactly is this taking place and what time? You have said Tuesday, yes?
Yes, it's actually taking place at the University of Lagos auditorium. That's Ade Ajayi Auditorium in UNILAG. And we want all guests seated by 10:30 because of the dignitaries. And just to follow up with what my president has just said, talking about the youth and the connection with the demographics, actually the alumni actually provide mentorship for the youth. So these are part of our, give back to the youth and also to the university community, because at the end of the day, all the youth will come in. Okay. Those that will connect, watching online or watching it on TVs or what have you. It's all about mentorship. Okay. And,
Is there a registration link? Do they have to register?
No, we deliberately didn't put that so that it won't look as a restriction. Okay. It's just open. But once the hall is filled up, it's first come, first serve.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for being here this morning. Mr. Lekon Ajishafe is Chairman Planning Committee. And we have also thank you for your time this morning. We also had Ms. Regina Chris Obodo, who is a chair, Logistics Subcommittee. Thank you for your time. As well as Engineer Ifeoluwa Oyedele, who is the president worldwide of the University of Lagos Alumni Association. Thank you so much for your time today. Thank you. Wish you had more time, really, because
wish you all the best.
Beginning to enjoy that last bit.
And you're all welcome. We want to see you.
When I arrive, you can welcome me.
Especially you are alumni.
Yes. On a lighter note, okay. I was at an event, UI recently. A friend was actually, awarded an honorary doctorate degree, and I was very surprised with the glitch on UNILAG at every point. The university authority always want to have a runoff on UNILAG brand.
You are just looking for trouble, Mr. Thank you so much.
Just a moment with our next topic.
Masterclass. The change agents break into groups to debrief.
Globally, households, businesses are transitioning into the use of cleaner energy sources, and that's where we come in. And apart from that, we're trying to cut down on food wastages generally in Nigeria. And heck, what's the thing about our freezers is that imagine that as you're here in this program, by the time you go home, your freezers have already accumulated like 100K secondary income for you. I mean, you're here.
Oh, nice.
How? So that's one of the things we do, and that's what Opera.
But really, how do you stack up with competitions in your industry? Who are the other guys who are within that space?
I think competition is really a thing.
Yours is like you're leading a new market, just like the other sectors.
Yeah.
The division on that. So I think you should focus on okay, the impact you've done so far, right? And just capture a really impactful story that can enable them to understand.
Okay.
Because some of the judges might not even understand what you're doing. So I think it's about giving enough context for the sake of understanding.
I think sometime last year it was a bit dicey. So the 20% became 15 because we didn't really have the number of partners we wanted.
But the one-liner thing, for me it was quite good because it made me, redefine the whole one-liner scope.
That's true. Talking about one-liner, I think we should go around our one-liner. So it's easier for us remember what each of us had said.
I have to craft mine, but I think it's something I could share.
What do you have on that?
I was able to craft something transforming plastic waste into eco-friendly products for a cleaner community through recycling and sustainable education.
The other time I told you that you're going to see something you hadn't seen before. Well, on this segment again, you see something else that is not common on this program. I'm not going to tell you about that yet. But just to let you know that following the success of the inaugural season or series, Channels Media Group is thrilled to announce the return of its original business reality series, Fund It Forward. Now, this season, 12 carefully selected young entrepreneurs from across Nigeria will converge. I think they have already converged.
Yes, they have.
Yes, and over 9 intense weeks of these ambitious founders, they will face real-world challenges designed to test and hone their business skills, resilience, and commitment to their social impact missions. 3 of them are here, ladies and gentlemen. The ladies first, we say. Chioma Ukpabi is here. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, sir.
Deborah Adidiro is also here.
My absolute pleasure.
As well as Matthias Mancha.
Thank you very much, sir.
Good morning, ladies.
Chioma is so excited. Why are you so excited, Chioma?
Oh, good morning, ma'am. I'm super excited because having this opportunity to speak about my journey on Fund It Forward and how it's actually helping me to, prepare myself and my startup Souk to be able to work on our mission impactfully, purposefully, and making profit at the same time. So I'm super excited to share that journey and my excitement journey.
Did you write the script?
She couldn't have because she didn't know what she was going to be asked.
Is that the same for you?
Absolutely, super excited. I find it a very, very good privilege to be right here on the screen, talking about what we're doing, turning plastic into sustainable fashion. What could have been a threat to environment that we are now repurposing it to something that is serving the people and saving the planet. I'm very sure all of my colleagues were super excited to be on this show. Really.
She not sell market.
They all came to sell market.
Exactly. Is that what you also came for?
This one is carrying load.
I will came with my product. I'm a farmer, proud farmer, and it's high time we want to let the world know that in order for us, Nigeria, to be able to feed ourselves, we need to go back to the primary source of agriculture, which is going back to the farm. Insecurity or not, if we don't go back to the farm, there's going to be a big problem coming. Yeah. I think COVID has taught us a lesson that sometimes you might have money, but if you don't have the food to buy, there's a big problem.
So it's not often we find young people in farming. What made you
excited about farming, not just in farming?
Yes.
You see, I grew up in a community where farming was all we're doing, so it was like a forcing thing. They forced you to go to the farm. But going to school, realizing that there was a business aspect of agriculture, and then when I touched, I've been into agriculture for more than a decade now, and it's been an amazing journey. I own several products and several companies.
And you look prosperous enough too.
I've been doing amazingly. Interestingly, the generation, unless they see people like myself doing well, they won't join the
go into farming.
So we are here to let them.
So this is your farm?
That's my farm. We cultivated 10 hectares of soybeans this year. 10 hectares, and this is the harvest for this year. So, and then I also own a rice company that processes one of the cleanest and most sought after Nigeria, and it's NAFDAC approved. So we are doing amazing work, and then we want others to join us. So it's an amazing to be.
How did you get, and why aren't you on Fund It Forward Series B?
I've always wanted to preach the gospel of young people going back to the farm, and for also the people to know that agriculture is not for old people and for the poor people. Agriculture is wealth. We've seen other countries give us, we go and import those things that we should be going to the farm. They don't have more than what we have, and we have all it takes. So with my whole experience, I'm like, if nobody's going to do it, I will do it, right? At least there's always somebody to do it, and that is me doing it. And I'm not just doing it alone. I'm standing on behalf of other young, vibrant farmers that are going and putting their lives on the line just to make food available for everybody.
Okay, farmer, we have heard enough. You fixed enough. Let's hear from Chioma.
Now, Chioma particularly must have a story, because we understand that she has some good news to share about her business.
Okay, so what Chioma does is that I am the co-founder and CEO of an edtech startup that is doing something very different and mind-blowing. We have gone beyond the regular part of educational technology of training in certain tech skills, but now we have developed a platform where young people, especially those that are unskilled, unemployed, that are living in underserved communities, can have access to vocational skills on the go. Now your mobile phone has turned to an online vocational school, and after you're done learning, we don't stop there. We have a job marketplace where you can get onboarded to either start your small business or get hired full-time in companies. I'm very excited about talking about it because this is something that started off as when I had the opportunity to be a community school teacher, and I saw secondary school students graduate, and I found out that it was a cycle. We in the university that we are done, we come out from the university, most times we don't have jobs, and then we have to either start any small business. Same goes to the young ones in secondary school. They are done with secondary school, they don't have pathway to start anything. Maybe they couldn't meet up with the cutoff mark of anything, and they couldn't even get into a university, and at the end of the day, they either want to join either social vices or anything in the community. But why don't we just start? You have a mobile phone. Let's look for ways to make these skills practical for you. And then you also have access to apprenticeship. So I'm so excited. I'm very always excited to talk about how
has it been really? Because one of the things that we have seen talking about these issues on this program is that young people just want to have fun.
We want to have fun.
That's all. So the idea of working to some, not all, to some, and a good number at that, just as you said, pick up the phone, Instagram, what's the other one?
TikTok.
Challenges.
Yeah.
And that's it. So how has it been bringing them on board to think about making functional and profitable use of their phones?
It's been a lot of working behind the scenes with my fantastic team. Sook was actually co-founded by myself and my husband. So we came together, we had our learning science experience, product development experience. How can we put in the love and the energy into making this platform where people want to come to? And guess what? Our platform has an opportunity for you the learning is gamified. So while you're learning, you have opportunities to meet up on leaderboards. And one thing I've noticed is if people love challenges on TikTok and Instagram, having a gamified platform where you're learning a vocational skill that could give you money almost immediately while you're learning or even after you're learning, it will make them want to stay on the platform. We have trained over 3,000 people on this platform. Wow. And it's so exciting to let you know that most of the time they tell you the fact that the learning feels personalized, because for every badge there are 50 people. We've gone so much in iteration to make it interesting. And we don't do this alone because of the students or the users that are learning. We do this because of the partners we've worked with. They want to see the impact of them even having to use our platform to train people. And that's the good news we're talking about, where we've had people reach out to us to say in 2025 we want to train 6,000 young people. So
you've been doing this. What are you doing on Funded for?
I wonder.
Well, platforms like Funded Forward, it's a very transformative and life-changing opportunity for us. We've done 3,000 people in the space of almost 3 years we started this business, and I'm very certain that it takes a lot of showing up on the faces of people for people to know what you're doing. Partners might be looking for where to want to put in their money, but they might not know the startups to reach out to. Platforms like this give us that opportunity for us to come and show that we are daring, we are capable, we are relevant, and we are well suited to take the job. So yes, that's one of the reasons.
Well, for Deborah now.
Okay. So Deborah, you've been in Funded Forward already. What has your experience been? And add to that, what is the thing that you've come to sell?
Okay, I think I'm going to start with the latter about what I've come to sell, right? While coming for this interview, one of the things I began to think of is that it's only possible because we have a very good environment. Imagine, we've been faced by flood and everywhere is flooded, or maybe some tsunami or what have you. We wouldn't be right here sitting, right? And for someone like me who survived flood, I was just 16 years old and I caught up with flood in the city of Ibadan, right? And I know that this flood happened because there was unmanaged waste in my community. Yes, no, that's the perfect one. Omiyale, and it's very common in Ibadan, right? In fact, there is a popular place in Gaise. You wouldn't be able to move past anything. Everybody just stays where they are. So this was my reality growing up. And now with my fashion experience, we're now saying that I can use fashion as a tool for transformation to mitigate this crisis, right? And one thing I used to say is that all what we're doing is only relevant because we have a good planet. We don't have planet B. If the planet goes off, trust me, my dear farmer won't be able to cultivate anything. And as a matter of fact, there was, according to UNICEF, there was a problem, I think in Kogi, and 20,000 of farmland was submerged in water. Why? Because we are not taking our environment, seriously. And then there is also unemployment. So what we are doing at DR Collection is that we'll take this waste from our community and transform them into products. So as a matter of fact, the skirt I'm wearing is made from water sachets. This bag is made from water sachet, right? I'm sure you're looking like, tell me, what is this? Are you serious? You might want to take it and look at it.
Pure
it's made from water sachet.
It's not actually okay.
No. It's water sachet. So it was woven together, right? If you look, you will see the nylons. It was woven together. So this is what we're doing. Use the glasses and see. I mean, we get the unbelievable vibe every time.
It is. Are you sure this is not actually okay?
No.
It's plastic.
It's plastic.
It's plastic.
It's plastic, right?
And this is that ubiquitous black nylon.
Yeah.
Those things I hate with a passion.
Now you can love them.
Here they are. No, I better begin to gather some of them for
yes,
you.
Please. I mean, we collect them.
So those things are everywhere.
They are. If you go to market to go buy something, they're giving you this nylon and they're contributing to it. So that is what we are doing, and we love to say, DR Collections, we are creating products that will serve the people and save the planet. So, there have been a lot of, because I've been in the sustainability space, so you see some people upcycle products and it's looking like another trash. And over the few months of we launching this product, is always the unbelievable look. Like, you mean you made this out of water sachets, you made this out of poly bags and all of that. So, and then to the part A of the question, so why are you on Fund It Forward, right? It's so that first to propagate the gospel of the fact that all of these things you're saying as trash, it can be transformed into something that will help us, and then maybe get the funding for us to, improve what we are doing where capacity is concerned, and also be on the faces of people to let you know that, we are here to save your planet. Nobody is going to die. Our businesses are going to thrive with what we are doing. Again, to know that fashion will not just be that thing that, is just covering your body. It's a tool for transformation. And part of the teams of people that do this are, marginalized youth, because I came from Kwara State, Ilorin, and we are known for weaving and all of that. So these are marginalized youth that are doing this work. So as much as we are solving the environmental problem, we're also flattening unemployment.
Wait, this is you?
Yes, that's me.
I mean, all those things behind you?
Yeah. Yes.
All made from what?
Plastic. Waste. So they're made from waste. Some are made from poly bags, what they call polyethylene bags and all of those things. Amazing work we're doing, I mean, really. And you need to see that.
Look at them. Cop will be very proud of you.
Look at them.
Yes, Cop, yes.
What's this one made of?
It's made from poly bags. So those shopping bags, you go and buy your pepper, they give you those black one thing. It's made from it.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I'm still. Should I make that a song?
Wow. I'm still. I mean, how much time do you have left on Fund It Forward?
I think we have about 4 weeks.
Yes, 4 weeks to go.
Yeah.
And how has the experience been, Matthias?
Amazing.
Okay. Luckily, you're not just talking to Matthias, you're talking to the CEO of the week. And that's my bad.
He had to throw that in.
That's not bad.
Can I have your complimentary card?
He's going to share that with you after the show.
The journey has been amazing. You could hear the passion in everybody talking. And that's the passion from 12 change agents. Firebrand youth trying to put in whatever they're doing forward. It's a competition, but also a family we're building.
Okay, I know that you are proud of the family, and I like the idea. But a little bird, so a big one actually, not that one on your chest, told me that there was a pitch and you won something. You want to tell us?
So we had a pre-investors demo pitch a couple of days ago. and whereby on the spot we had no idea, so it wasn't like a planned thing. So it was one of our normal Thursday hanging out, go and chill. So we're at chilling spot and we're caught unaware to say, hey, all of you are going to pitch to each other 2 minutes to sell your business to each other, and each agent is going to rate his colleague. And we did that. Amazingly, everybody put in their passion, and then there was a tie between myself, Damancha Integrated Farms, and Plastic Build, Amidu, where he turns tires into shoes.
Whoa.
Yes, tires into shoes. And fought the fight, and then I was able to win the cash prize of 250,000 naira courtesy of the pre-investors.
You're winning already. Even before the end, you're winning.
Yes, I was able to tell my fellow agents that, you see, there's insecurity, so we who are trying to put food on the table, it's not easy. So you guys have to look and understand that it's our life we're putting on the line to put food on your table.
You know, guys, I could go on and on here, but
so that's
I wish I didn't have to do this. Sincerely, I wish I didn't have to tell you guys to get out of the studio, because for those of you who are interested and wondering what's going on here, just stick with Channel Television. Fund It Forward Series B is already on. So many issues to raise with these amazing people. But for now, I have to thank you all for being here this morning. Ladies first, so hold your own. Deborah Didiron, Chioma Babi, as well as Matthias Mancha, all change agents on Fund It Forward Series B. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good luck to you.
Oh, by the way, you can go to channelstv.com's YouTube channel. Channels Television's YouTube channel has a space exclusively of Fund It Forward, and you can catch up more on this on that channel. Until then, please do that now, if you don't mind. We'll take a short break, but be back with us in about 2 minutes when we return for the next one, okay?
Well, tomorrow is December the 1st, so Christmas has come, and this is a season where all kinds of things are happening in the church, in societies, in clubs. All kinds of Christmas things are happening, celebrations of all kinds of things. And the Rotary Club is not left out. The family of the Rotary Festival is an annual celebration of families by Rotary International, a global service organization with over 1.4 million members in more than 35,000 clubs across 200 countries and territories. As a district with 72 clubs, about 3,000 Rotarians, non-Rotarians, families and partners are expected to be in attendance, as it promises to be an unforgettable experience. To tell us more about this, we have some Rotarians in the studio. One of them is the chairman, family of Rotary District Committee, Rotarian Olusegun Dave. Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, ma'am.
We also have Rotarian Emeka Eze, who represents the Media and Publicity Subcommittee.
Thank you very much, Anna.
Thank you very much for coming. So it's all happening on the 7th.
Sure. On the 7th of December, live at Police College.
Yes. What is this really all about?
What is happening?
Yes, this great event is all about bringing together the entire Rotarians under District 9112. They are coming together with their immediate family and including their extended family. And then, you know, this one will promote union among them, more union. They'll be able to bond together, you know, to actually enjoy themselves together. You know, most of our Rotarians that normally leave their house, you know, they attend different programs of Rotary. They don't have enough time
to bond together, with their family. But this, we allow it to enable them to have enough time to cash funds among their immediate family, their extended family. We're going to assemble in one location on that day. And then we have over 75 clubs, in this district. All of us are coming together under one umbrella on that day.
So what are the things to expect?
What are you going to be doing on that day when you all come together?
All right, just like my chairman was trying to portray, actually the event is an annual event, the Family of Rotary Festival, and it's usually an opportunity for Rotarians who over the year, have taken so much time to carry out activities, service to humanity, and this has something to some extent taken us away from our families, more like a give back, thing. We organize this event, it's an annual, very big, colorful, and very filled with so much to happen. And the idea is to give back to those families who have endured our absence, those families who have been there for us while we carried out these services that most times are very time consuming and, takes a lot of our 3 T's. And so the organizing of this event, we try to make it as fun as possible. There's so much lined up, the activities amongst clubs, there are club parades, novelty march, children activities, name it. There's just so much. It's even an opportunity for some of us who have maybe spouses or other businesses and would want to showcase, more like vendor showcase for small businesses. It's an opportunity for us to put that out. But the idea is actually to create an environment where we bond, where we meet ourselves, where we enjoy the day. It starts in the morning and rolls through so many activities up till the evening time. And the location is a very vast place. It's the police college at Ikeja, and the planning, constitutes, the committee constitutes members from different clubs within the district, and it promises to be a very fantastic, event, and there's so much lined up.
Is that so much lined up that you don't want to tell us?
Well, like I said before, I started out with the novelty match.
No, you said it now.
That's what everyone looks at.
That one is just the...
And then number 2 is, there's this competitive atmosphere that is created amongst clubs. Clubs want to showcase. You see club members coming out in different attires. In fact, to even make it more interesting, this year we have some positions where you would have persons who have sponsored this event to come out as the Otumba of the event, the Odogo of the event, whatever it is. The idea is as much, fun as possible.
I heard sponsor now.
Oh, good. Okay, now Rotary activities are capital intensive because we do so much with money to try to create beautiful life for people. Now, and these things don't come cheap. And usually our the funding,
I asked about sponsor because the funding comes, sponsors.
The funding comes from within. Clubs have made commitments to this event. Individuals have made commitments, and it's still open to sponsorship. Just like Madam said on a lighter note earlier, she said an event that is taking place in 1 week, you're still talking sponsorship. It's open until then. There are some persons who would even come on that day, companies that want to use the event as an opportunity to do some corporate social responsibilities, who have items, giveaways they want to give. No matter what it is, would never say no. Anything to make the event better.
Okay. So, Mr. Chairman, so what are we expecting some dignitaries at the event?
Yes, we are expecting a lot of dignitaries. If you look at it, on that day, we're going to have a father of the day, who is a royal father, in person of Professor Oba Lanlege, that's the Olota of Ota Kingdom. He is going to be the royal father for the day, and we have other royal fathers that are going to join him. A lot of first-class kings are going to come with him to be seated on that day. And apart from that day, apart from that, we have the Lagos State First Lady. That's the wife of the Lagos State Governor, who is the mother of the day for that program as well. We have the Yeyelua of that event, what is in person of Ambassador Dr. Jackie Adone Kasim. He is the Yeyelua of that particular program. We have some philanthropists that actually, they sponsor this program by giving us a, very good, amount of money, and we are going to treat those people, to the best of our knowledge on that day, because after that event, the second day, we are going to have a lunch with all our sponsors at Marriott Hotel. All of them will be there. It's going to be a very, very big event, because apart from that, we have some little traditional icons that we gave to the people that directly supported us, among the Rotarians, even some political, personnel also, they assisted us. So all of them are coming out on that day. They're coming out, with a great aspiration on that day to cash fund with us, to enjoy the atmosphere, of Rotary. Even on that day, we, by the special grace of God, we have some company that actually they've agreed, to take care of our drinks on that day, but I won't mention their name yet. But they told us that they're going to participate, fully on that day, and we're going to give them spaces for them to even showcase their product because they are partnering with us on that day for that program.
Now, let me come back to you, sir. So, the event is already cast for about a week from now.
7th of December.
So, what are you inviting everyone else in Nigeria to come to?
Well, it's just for Rotarians and their families.
Well, there are some persons who are very Rotarian-centric. I like to use that word. They are not Rotarians particularly. They love what Rotary does, and they just want to associate with Rotary one way or the other. When we say family, to some persons, friends are more family to them. And so the idea is there are persons that are close to you, you want to bring along. We're not saying the whole Nigeria should gather there, but then the doors are not shut there, to anyone who wants to attend and would want to. It's an opportunity because I've seen cases where the last event, there's a group that came and it's made them to even create a new club from them, from what they saw at the event. So it's open to everyone, but the idea is actually to give back to the family of these Rotarians that have endured their absence in the time of service.
Okay, for those who are watching, should you be interested in the sponsorship packages, there's the gold sponsors, and they are, expected from them will be about 3.5 million. And then there's a silver sponsorship category, which is 2.5 million. Should you be interested in taking up any of these sponsorship deals?
Chairman, how does anybody give you money for this event?
Is that?
Yes. If somebody was interested now, how do they go about it?
Anybody that is interested, they will just send us just like an information that they're interested, they want to key into this event.
Send it to where?
They will send it to the district. We have the district account that the person can actually transfer, the money into. And once that one is done, immediately we'll send the name, the company's name or the individual name to the media department to do the needful immediately and create a space.
No, but they'll need to talk to someone before they begin to make payment.
Yes, they can talk to me, and they can talk to the secretary of this particular event. They can talk also to
telephone number.
Yeah, the telephone number is 080-230-49263, and they can as well talk to the vice chairman of the program, that is Dr. Mrs. Comfort Otegbeye.
Okay.
You can reach us.
And the number is?
That number
you don't have that one offhand. That's fine. So
okay, this one is
the number is 002-304-7.
080-230-49263.
Okay. 304-9263.
Yes,
okay. All right.
Thank you. And it's also important to note that everything about Rotary is very well rated for its transparency and accountability. All payments are usually done to designated accounts within the district. Rotary, there's no personal accounts.
Absolutely.
And the proceeds of events like this, after the event is planned, the proceed goes back to service to humanity in delivering in the 7 areas of focus that Rotary, plays in.
Thank you
the
so much.
The proceed goes to the Rotary Foundation, which we normally use to do good in the whole world.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you
so
very
much
much.
for your time.
I wish you all the best, and I wish you all the fun on the 7th of December, Rotarian.
Just so you know, that phone number is right there on your screen. You can just copy and call him immediately.
Okay.
We look forward to seeing you at the event as well.
Yeah.
Rotarian Olusegun Dave, Chairman, Family of Rotary District Committee, and Rotarian Emeka Eze, who's Media and Publicity Subcommittee. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, man. Thank you. And you too, you are invited for that program. Come and join us and catch the fun.
I'll be waiting for your chariots to carry me. Well, thank you so much, and that was that. Next is
lifestyle.
By the way, just so you know, Mike Abdul is coming on DSS, December 21. Yes, DSS. Yes, think what you want. But why? But in the meantime, let's talk about gerontology. Oh, that's not what's on the... Oh, sorry. A gerontologist studies all aspects of the aging process and works to support the needs and wants of older adults. That's what this conversation is about. Sometimes in this season, it's a time to go to old people and it's the time to run away from old people. Let's talk about that this morning with Dr. Olutoyin Akande-Ajala, who is a gerontologist. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
While having a conversation with my colleague about this discussion, my colleague here said something we all know, and that's the fact that older people get abandoned easy. And there are no homes for older people here as they are in other climes. How is that a problem? Do you agree with her?
Yes, okay. So the first thing is I have to correct you. I'm actually not a gerontologist.
Okay.
I'm a geriatrician.
What's the difference?
So the difference is a geriatrician is a doctor that looks after older people. So we're physicians for older people. You know the way you have a cardiologist that looks after the heart, there's physicians, you know, an endocrinologist or a chest physician. I'm a geriatrician. So I'm a physician, yes. So we all do the same. So in the UK where I trained, we all do the same training. And then you decide which subspecialty of general internal medicine you want to specialize in. So part of geriatric medicine is also gerontology, where you have to know about the physiology, you have to know about the demographics, you have to know about really everything that encompasses elderly care.
Okay.
You know, including elderly health care.
How do we give that attention, that much significant enough attention to treating or taking care of the older people?
Well, if we haven't been doing it up till now, we should, because, you know, the statistics are actually a little bit alarming. Right now in Nigeria, we have over 9 million is what the stats tell us in the elderly population. By 2050, which is just over 25 years' time, that population is going to increase by 500% to over 30 million elderly people. We don't have the wherewithal at the moment to look after all of them. I'm one of 9 geriatricians in Nigeria, and I only 9 trained geriatricians in Nigeria. I can tell you I have a very huge workload because the population actually understand what geriatric medicine is about. So if you are in that position where you have an elderly parent or an elderly relative, you look for a geriatrician. So I'm being looked for.
Now, the figures you just gave, well, you used the word, so I will just use the same word you use. The figures are alarming.
Yes, they are.
And it's going to increase by 500%.
500% at least.
Is it that people are living longer, living better, and therefore living longer?
Yes, they are. They are. So by 2050, I mean, I'm going to be 55 now, so that's 25 years' time, I'll be 80. So I should hope that I'll be one of those numbers.
Still alive and strong.
Still alive and strong. You know, as long as you're able to do the right things, you know, when you're younger, you should
Which is what this is all about.
Exactly. You get to that age, I mean, and that's part of the care of the elderly as well, because what we have to do is we have to ensure that our elderly don't end up where the majority of the 80-year-olds are now, quite frail. So, I always call it like a failure to thrive. With the pediatric age group, children that are not growing well, they call that a failure to thrive. In our demographic, the people in the older age group now have actually failed to thrive. The majority of them. They're the exceptions. They're the fantastic 90-something-year-olds. I have them in my practice. But the majority of people I see, from the age of 70 really, they haven't really looked after themselves very well when they were younger.
Why is that?
Well, I suppose, first of all, it's awareness, isn't it? Because, 30 years ago, who was talking about healthy aging? 30 years ago. So you can imagine that the people who are in their 70s, 80s now, unless they were particularly obsessive, didn't really know about healthy aging. They didn't know, for instance, about, who was talking about dietary regulations and things like that.
If we can really bring this home, because back then, no one spoke about healthy aging, you taking care of yourself. The only thing is, everyone is saying, I'm going to have children who are going to take care of me.
Yes, yes.
When I grow old.
Yes, yes. And I don't think those children at that time also realized the burden that they would have when their parents are old. So my generation is called the sandwich generation. That generation that we have elderly parents that we're looking after.
As well as your
young children who... for my age group, at least they're still in university, but we are looking after, and that burden is heavy for many people, physically, mentally, and financially heavy.
Since people are living longer, we don't want them frail and dependent when they are old.
Yes.
So where do we start and how do we start? What do we eat? What things do we do so that should God decide to preserve us into our 80s or even 90s, we're not dependent on anybody?
Right, okay, so really, with my establishment, we've got a conference that we've held annually since 2019 called the Healthier Aging Conference. That conference was born off the back of what I saw. Because what I saw when I came to Nigeria in 2018 was that people weren't doing as well as I thought. And I always say when I meet elderly people, I always say, if you were one of the people I met when I first came, I'd probably have gone back to the UK, but then that wasn't what I met. For instance, dementia, it's so prevalent in our community. I had no idea. I thought it was a Western world problem. And I dare say that we probably have more of it here than in the UK where I trained and where I worked for years, And what we need to do now is we need to actually just take those of us who are younger, take that bull by the horns and do what we have to do. The government is not going to help us. You talked about what should we do. I'll get to the crux of it, lifestyle. What we're talking about today, lifestyle changes. So when you talk about food, I grew up in what I call the sugar. We were the sugar babies. We had sugar in everything. There was sugar in tea, sugar in gari, sugar in everything. Even beans.
And yam.
And yam, and corn. I found out the other day because and there was sugar in the corn. And we know, for instance, now that sugar is one of the #1 aging agents in the world. You have to cut out sugar, just to make it more startling for people, so everyone knows what you're supposed to do. So for women, by the time you take 6 teaspoons of sugar a day, for men 9. I actually don't agree with the men. I think men should also just stick to 6. By the time you take that every day from the age of 40, you're reducing your lifespan for some people by about 14 years just because of the amount of inflammation it causes to the body and the propensity to really bring on those chronic diseases, diabetes, cancer, obesity, all these things.
Please don't call them like that.
I have to be frank.
The way you're calling them, they're even more scary than they actually are.
Well, people should be scared. It's just one of those things. And then, obviously, every woman wants to look young and all of that. If you're piling on the sugar, by the time you've taken your first cup of tea, you've taken one cup of gari, you've taken your coffee later, you've had, and our teaspoons, you know, the teaspoons we use are not when they say 6 teaspoons, they mean 6 level teaspoons. We heap the teaspoons up. So that 1 teaspoon is already like about 3 teaspoons. So if you keep on having that and piling that on, then you are actually reducing your lifespan. So in case you say, oh yes, well, if I reduce my lifespan, then I'll die, isn't it? And that's it. It's not just that. You're affecting your heart, your kidneys, your brain, you know. So just in case you are one of those people who does have the genes to live longer, you might just live longer in a frail state. And nobody wants that.
Let's agree, first of all, you're coming back.
So cut out sugar.
Wait, first, you're coming back, because 7 minutes is not going to cut it.
Yes.
But so far you've only spoken about food, and you've just touched one item, sugar.
Yes, sugar. Yes.
Let's stick with sugar for a while. Let me turn my back. Sweet tooth.
Yes, which I have.
Cakes? Oh.
Because I grew up, I'm a sugar baby.
Cakes?
Yes.
Chocolates?
Yes, sweets.
ETC. Maybe I should just get out of this studio because
rub it in. Yes. So I'm one of those people that likes all those things.
So you are in the same WhatsApp group?
I have a proper sweet tooth, but we have to do it. So what we have to do, I believe in having everything in moderation, but sugar is actually probably one of those things that we should try and cut out in totality. Altogether. Whoa. But then the odd treat can't help, you know, it can't hurt us, you know, I think, isn't it? I mean, you know, having the odd cake now and then, but you know, cutting out sugar as in super added, we're putting that white stuff in our tea, coffee, all those things. It's an acquired taste, and sugar is actually addictive. You think you need it, but you don't. You've got to do that 21-day fast. Cut out sugar for 21 days. By 21 days, you'll actually realize you didn't need it. Yes.
You hear?
Why are you looking at me?
Just saying.
I did that, so I know it can work. My dad is 86. He doesn't. I remember the day he told me he was stopping sugar. I was like, wow. You know, and he did. He stopped it. He just stopped sugar.
But completely. For some people, cutting it out might be like almost to them like cutting your face. So what are the alternatives? Honey is one, right?
No, honey is also sugar.
Oh.
Because it's also very sweet. It's also
natural.
Well, let's cut it out. Cut out honey as well.
Cut out honey.
Why don't you do... So what I did, because I knew I could not cut everything out. I knew I couldn't. So what I did was I actually started having... So, you know, instead of having 1 teaspoon, I just have 1 level teaspoon. Then I went to half a teaspoon. By the time I got to half a teaspoon, putting more, it actually tasted off. I didn't like it. You know, it gets too sweet. So if you tail it down, don't just cut it. I couldn't do the cutting off completely. I had to actually just tail it down. You know when you're weaning yourself off something.
Trying to imagine
you're weaning yourself off without sugar.
I'm trying to imagine coffee without.
So do it.
I don't take coffee, just so you know.
Okay.
I'm just trying to imagine taking coffee without any sweetener.
Black coffee, no sugar, no milk.
Gosh, that's medication.
For me, coffee with honey would be... Yeah, okay, we've touched about the food. What else? I'm going to just touch because there isn't that much time. So let's just talk on the important things. Cut out sugar and then regular physical activity, exercise. Okay. That is in fact, that's probably number 1. So cut out sugar. If we're going to talk about 3 things today, cut out sugar and regular physical exercise. That is proven beyond all doubt. All scientific research points to the fact that if you work out, don't even work out, just go on a walk every day, moderate intensity exercise. So a brisk walk. Start with 15 minutes of a brisk walk every day, and that would reduce your chances of getting all these chronic diseases. It helps with blood pressure. So if you can, you know, do that regular physical exercise, you're going to bring your blood pressure levels down. It might not be down to the point where you don't need any medication forever, but at least it helps. It helps with things like obesity. It helps with reducing your risk of having cancer, you know, diabetes. It strengthens you, not just physically, but mentally and cognitively. It reduces the risk of having dementia in old age by more than 30%.
Regular physical exercise, for me, that is key. I don't even joke with that at all.
Okay.
The
third one.
So the third one I'm actually going to talk about, because I've talked about sugar, I've talked about mobility. I want to talk about finances. As you get older, please look after your finances. So, we talked about, at least my parents' generation, not my parents in particular, but their generation, believed that as long as you have children, you'll be well looked after. Not always the case. I must say that at least with my patients, I am super impressed with the fact that their children go all out as they can go. I'm not so sure that our own children will do the same for us, because our children are now, that Gen Z generation of, so you didn't think you were going to go old. Yeah, you did. What were you doing? Were you saving? What were you doing? Did you have me just so that I can look after you in old age? Is that why I'm here? They'll ask you questions. Those homes that you said are not available, they actually are. There are homes, there are care homes. There are care homes in Lagos, Ikorodu on the mainland. There's some towards the Aja.
Are there as many as 9 geriatricians in Lagos?
You mean as many care homes? Yes, there are more care homes. You don't have to be a geriatrician to have a care home. Okay. I have a hospital. I've got the first private geriatric hospital in Nigeria. But for that you have to be a specialist. You have to be a geriatrician. But to have a care home, you just have to have
How do you get rid of the stigma of taking your older folks,
your parents, for instance? Yeah. So that is just one of the things that is going to evolve with time, and it has started evolving. Exactly. Because I have gone to visit, there are people who are abroad, with the Jakba. There are people who are abroad and their parents are at home, like with the carer. That has failed for various reasons. Yeah. They've had to look for options, and they've had to put their parents in a care home.
At what time does anyone watching you right now, listening to you, begin to consider seeing a geriatrician?
So in the definition of it, so a physician specifically trained to look after older people. In Nigeria, it would be 65 and above. Okay. In the UK, it's 70 and above. Okay. Because, the UK at the moment has a bigger elderly population than we have in Nigeria. That is going to change in 2050. In 2050, we'll have a bigger elderly population.
Anyway.
So it's 65 and above.
Former President Obasanjo says we're going to write to about quite a number, 500-something million people in Nigeria. I don't even want to think about that right now. I want to thank you very much for your time. Please, promise you're going to come back.
I'll come back.
Good. Dr. Olutoyin.
The whole world heard you.
Yes. Dr. Olutoyin Akode-Ajala is a geriatrician, and thank you so much for your time. I think the next conversation we're going to have is healthy aging. We'll get to that one. Thank you again for your time.
You're welcome.
The home stretch is about
now.
We'll come back.
Yes, you guessed right. That was Gaye Baba. Well, his real name is actually Akinade Iboye, and he's a polymath, culture architect, and award-winning Afrofusion artist who performs socially conscious music in Yoruba, English, and the West African lingo, Pidgin. Gaye Baba, good morning, and thank you for coming on Sunrise.
Good morning, Mark. It's good to be here again.
Where did the name Gaze come from?
Acronym of my initials.
Okay. G for
Buluaga.
Okay.
Buluaga.
Well, Buluaga, no, it go to. So.
It go to?
Yeah.
A?
Akinade, the one you called first. I is Iboye, that's my surname. Samuel. Yeah.
Oikukan. E?
Elijah level.
Why do you say that and cover your face?
That's one of his biggest songs, Elijah Level. It's a beautiful song. How are you this morning?
Very good. Fantastic. We thank God.
Are you an accidental musician?
I'll say no. I don't think so. I think it's been written since the annals of time.
You started.
Yeah. The way there's a scripture that says, "Before you were formed in your mother's womb, I knew you, and I ordained you a prophet." So I think before I was formed in my mother's womb, did I know? I've been singing since I was a kid, but I didn't know I was going to make a career of it, out of it. But eventually, over time, I think we understand purpose in hindsight. So by the time I look back over how my life has played out, I can tell that there was always this divine hand, orchestrating and leading. How
Did you start from the church?
I still am in the church. I never left the church. I'll never leave the church.
Okay. All right.
I may not function in the church like a worship leader, but even
if you function as a worship leader, is it Elijah level you are going to listen to? There's a song you just put out.
Yes.
I'm gonna go there. I mean, this is not your first time, so you're not a greenhorn here. And I would like to know what informed it.
Yeah, so I'm
this
sorry.
Song.
Yeah, Yield. Yield is a song on grief. It's a song on loss. A song on the loss of loved ones, death. And it was inspired by a friend of mine who lost his wife like about 2.5 months ago.
Months?
Yes, pretty. And I mean, you probably, if you look her up, you know her. She ran for the state. She had a political campaign. She ran for a seat in the Ekiti State House of Assembly in 2023, just last year. And she came really close. It was a fantastic race. She ran on the PDP, ticket, but she died of a terminal ailment. So, and these are like, he's a dear friend of mine, so it really hit me. And then we're part of a community, and so we had to do a tribute. So I wrote the tribute. I went to the studio, I recorded it. While recording it, the producer said to me, Gaze, this song is going to help many more people. There are many people out there who are going through grief, have gone through grief, or will go through grief. So I think you should release this song and make it available to people. And so we did that. It's been out for maybe about just 2 or 3 weeks. And the feedback has been heavily about comfort and healing. There are people who are now who have buried the emotion for many years. Someone said she hasn't been able to properly mourn her dad in 24 years.
Let's listen to a bit of the song. I know it's not long, maybe it's about 2
Yeah, it's about 2 minutes
or thereabout. Let's just listen to a bit of it so you can talk a little more about it.
My understanding fills me, oh, you hear me, but we judge him faithful still. Would you look and see I'm a turari? I sure it, you that you are a turari. Would you look and see I'm a turari? Would you look and see I'm a turari? Would that you are a turari? Would you look and see I'm a turari?
As gloomy as the song can be sometimes, grief is like something to embrace easily. So what made you, I know it's because it was a friend and all of those things, and because it's your gift, it's one of the things that you had to give to this dear friend. It will be very rare for anyone to decide to do a not so popular song. Come on, grief is not something to...
Yes, you're correct. However, it's a valid human emotion. I'm a Christian, I'm big on faith, and my scriptures tell me there's a time to dance, there's a time to mourn, there's a time to laugh, there's a time to cry. And if we only have songs that treat the times to laugh, then it's incomplete. That means that we are not making music that capture the whole essence of life. So I'm actually privileged to have been able to capture this emotion, because in the moment I went through that emotion, I was actually teary when I wrote it, because I knew the person I was writing for. I knew her personally. I knew my friend personally. I could not even imagine what he would be going through, right? Which is why I was able to capture that emotion, which is why it is connecting with people the way it is connecting with them, right? It's not a song that you can promote the same way you promote every other song, but when people need it, then they find it helpful,
So how because we've had a grief consultant in the studio before, and who told us that it's not only death that we mourn. Sometimes we mourn losses. We mourn the loss of things that we connect very, very deeply with. Could be a phone. And you know that people these days, the way people are so attached to their devices, they're quite a number. It's quite significant. But the question to you then would be, this is a different kind of ministration, if I can call it that. Would you encourage other musicians and influencers such as yourself to toe this line, to connect with people emotionally and functionally?
I would say yes, I will. However, I also think that we all have varying assignments. Like I've been explaining over the course of this year on my podcast, Black Flame, there are those of us who function in the temple, there are those of us who function outside the temple. There are those of us who have to engage with the city, engage with culture. And she was asking me who's a culture architect, and I was saying someone who is like shaping culture in a particular direction, trying to influence culture. So I have to engage culture. I'm not a church artist. I'm from the church, I'm in the church, but my work is outside. So I'm going to make music that connects with people on different levels. I have songs on society, on marriage. It's not just love. When we're trying to do something that is not love is not the only emotion human beings go through, right? So this is one. And I believe that those of us who have to engage culture, who have to engage people on different levels, who have to make music that capture everyday occurrences of human
You didn't call the song, for instance, you didn't call it mourn. You didn't call it hope. You said yield. To what? To death?
To Christ. So I wrote about loss from a Christian perspective.
Okay.
I wrote about loss from a Christian perspective.
Do not mourn as those who have no hope.
Exactly. So I'm saying no guilt in life, no fear in death. Jesus commands our destiny. So even in this pain, we yield to him. Even when we feel pain, we can still yield to that pain.
But you do know that it's easier said than done, right?
No, it's not. It's not even that it's easier said. Even in the saying, it's not easy. It's not easy. Even in the saying, it is not easy.
Because someone is listening to you now and wondering, what's this bloke talking about? I have spent decades with this fellow, and he just died, and you're telling me to yield. This guy just died, and you're telling me to yield. What sermon are you preaching?
You're gonna see again. We're gonna see again. It's tough. It's hard, and it never goes away. The first line in the song says, "People come, people go, but to let go, oshoro." Oshoro means it's difficult. To let go, oshoro. So it's a tough call. It can never be easy, but His grace is sufficient for us.
Especially because
I'm sure you've heard about people who, some of them clergy people, who put all their trust in the Lord and had some adversary and prayed to him to bring them out of it. And it was like the good Lord abandoned them. So they ended up now abandoning the church, abandoning their faith, their belief and everything, and leaving the church altogether. What would you say to those people?
I would, first of all, a caveat would be that it's not really what I say, and I might not have the answers, and I have to be honest about that. However,
they weren't in a hurry to yield.
In my journey and in my understanding, my little understanding of God and mankind, I've seen that there are things that we think is evil. We see, because we are viewing from our prisons, our human prisons, we see those occurrences as evil, whereas in the grand scheme of things, it's not. Because, for instance, if you're a Christian, you believe that Jesus died, and that's one of the most gruesome things ever in the history of man. He was crucified. The most sinless man was given the most gruesome death. In the view of man at that time, that was an evil thing. But from the eyes of eternity, that was the greatest good in the history of mankind that was taking place right then. So sometimes our perspective is very limited. We are limited to this scope, this lifetime.
We're human.
That's what I'm saying, because we're operating on this level of good and evil. Because we never really were supposed to operate on good and evil. Now, because Adam will chop tree of good and evil, we for no day here. We'll have been on the level of...
That guy go answer query.
We'll have been on the level of...
We go drag up for WhatsApp.
Right? So, good and evil is from the same tree. So the same thing, depending on the perspective, can be seen as good. This very same thing can be seen as evil.
So you're saying that death could be good?
In certain circumstances and from certain prisons, from certain perspectives, it can. And that's, for you to see it like that, only the divine can show you. As a man, there's no way you're going to see it as anything other than evil. But there's more to life than what we see.
Okay, so what is this one we're seeing? Okay, I was just seeing a cartoon.
Yeah.
This one.
All right, I've decided, no turning back. Okay. I've decided to follow Jesus. We made an piano vibe of that popular chorus.
Okay. And you are dragging water from the well too?
Something like that.
Okay, now, one of the things that I have come to learn about your industry is something that's highly essential, which is mentorship.
Do I have?
No, I'm not asking. No, you look like a mentor already, in my opinion. But how does it work? Does it work? Is it something that is embraced by the people in your industry? Mentorship?
I think so. Even though I feel like many times when people say they need a mentor, what they are saying is they need a sponsor.
And there's a big difference between
both. Yeah. Right. I have people who kind of play that role in my, even where I am, that still play that role in my life. That people like Gaye Baba, people like Olakunle Shorinyo, you know, I have people like that, and they might not even necessarily be musicians. You know, wisdom is wisdom. You can apply it in any field, right? So yes, it does work, but I think it's not as much as in other industries, right? And I think that we can do more of that in our space. What we have more are, you know, label artist relationships. So maybe the artist finds someone in the label that he respects and so is inspired by him and all, but to be able to find someone that can give guidance, wise guidance, is important.
Okay, quickly, just before we go, what does being the state cultural ambassador entail?
I mean, it's more celebratory. It's not like a functional role. So it's more about because we're 14 and back in 2013 that Ekiti State honored. So it was more like an award, sort of, not an employment.
So you're not doing anything.
So I'm not necessarily doing anything. I just, you know, being good ambassadors.
Just identified.
Yes, good ambassadors of the state.
Okay. December 21. We already agreed that you're coming here for DSS. We're going to be arrested here. So what are we expecting?
A full spectrum of
Gaye Baba.
Gaye Baba. So fun, intelligence, wisdom, reflection, the whole works.
Okay. Just so you know, December Sunrise Special, not the other DSS. We are going to arrest him, yes, but it's not that one. It's December Sunrise Special, DSS. You know, go? I don't want stories.
Gaye Baba Akiade Iboye, polymath, culture architect, and award-winning Afrofusion artist. Thank you. And cultural ambassador for Ekiti State. Thank you very much.
Cultural architect. etc.
Thank you very much for coming on Sunrise this morning. And that's our package today. We hope to see you next month with a fresh package. I'm Alera Edu, wishing you all the best. And compliments of the season would actually be in order.
Tomorrow is December 1, just to remind you. And from then on, it's 24 days to Christmas. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend.